Ben. I'm going to go back to literally what I said less than 2 minutes ago. Okay, up here, please. So we've already done one-step equations. Those are, most people can just look at them and tell me what the answers without doing algebra. Two-step equations, different animal. Two-step equations require you to do the algebra steps. So if you're lazy and like, I'm not doing any silly algebra steps to solve a one-step equation, well, with a two-step equation, you got to do the algebra. So everybody grab your pencils, put your mask on, and let's do some math. Following the rules of algebra. The three rules are, you try to get the variable by itself. We say to isolate the variable. The second thing is, whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side. And the last thing is, thank you, Keegan. Bless you. The last thing is, to get rid of things, we do the inverse. The 4 steps are, where's the variable? What's attached to it? How is it attached? Do the inverse. So one step at a time. Step number 1, find the variable. It's either going to be on the left side or the right side of the equal sign. Hey, look, it's on the right side. The problem is it's a 2-step. It's called 2-step because there's 2 things we need to get rid of. I need to get rid of this 1 and this 4. Now you have a choice, and it is a choice. There are smart choices and there are not smart choices. There's no wrong choice. You can get rid of the 1 or the 4. If we decide to get rid of the 4, listen carefully. 4 is attached to a through multiplication. I need to divide everything by 4. Do you see the problem? Who wants to divide 39 by 4? No. Who wants to divide 1 by 4? No one, except for men, right? But for the rest of us, we want to do it the easy way. The easy way is always, with one exception, we'll learn it next year, get rid of addition, subtraction first. Okay? Get rid of addition, subtraction first. It's the easiest thing to do. So we're going to get rid of this 1. How is the 1 attached to the A?
Addition.
It's addition. It's a positive 1. How do you get rid of a positive 1? I subtract 1 from both sides. As we stated yesterday, for some of you, if not most of you, on your resource card, or maybe even on your test at the very top, you need to have add, subtract, right? And the rules, you're either going to have same signs or you're going to have different signs. When you're adding or subtracting, when you have same signs, you add. When you have different signs, you subtract. And then over here we have multiplying, dividing. Once again, you're still going to have same or different signs. When the signs are the same, the answer is positive. Maybe what POS, right? And those signs are different. It is negative, NEG. Okay. Sometimes I put a plus or minus, and then the kids are like, what does that mean? Add or subtract? No, it's positive or negative is the answer. Okay. Hey, same or different signs?
Same.
What's it say to do? Add those 2 numbers.
40.
Where are you getting a 30 from?
40.
My idioticness.
It says add the 2 numbers. Just add.
40.
40, but we're adding negatives. That's the rule, part of the rule I leave off. So the answer is negative 40. If we're adding 2 positives, the answer is positive. If you're adding 2 negatives, the answer is negative. Just like when we talk about when the signs are different, it says subtract, big minus. I leave off the big minus small. Do we have more positives, more negatives? But you've heard that so many times that we don't need to write the rules that complicated. All right, on the other side, we're left with 4a. How do we get rid of the 4?
You divide by 4.
You divide both sides by 4. Be careful. What's it say for multiplying and dividing? Same or different signs?
Different.
It says if the signs are different, the answer will be
Negative.
negative. So Macy, the final answer is A is equal to, because negative 40 divided by 4 is negative 40. Negative 40 divided by 4. It is a multiple choice test. You could look at the answers. Okay, When you yell out an answer, when I'm asking a student a question, they stop thinking. Let them think. Okay. The cool thing about multiple choice test is I'm not grading your work. It's not that I don't care about your work. It's a multiple choice test. You could have stopped right there, some of you, and looked at the answers and say, oh, sure, it's D. Looks like it's going to be another D day. We'll see. All right, questions. We won't do a bunch of these, but we'll at least do, I don't know, 2 of them. Pick one. Which one looks hard?
Number 6.
Number 6 apparently looks hard. Let's see if Gavin. Number 6.
Number 6 is really hard. Look at it.
Not.
Okay. Unfortunately for me, and I know I've said this before, I wish I could put this over here so you could have room, but you don't have room to work. So you need to, don't squeeze it in next to the problem. Give yourself some space. So, okay, you got plenty of time to take the test, rewrite it. -2 plus 5m. Are we getting rid of the 5 or the -2? Okay, look at the -2. How do you make -2 go away?
+2.
Some people are going to look at this plus and guess what they're going to do? They're going to subtract to what? Yeah, it's attached by addition. Yeah, but it's a -2. If we subtract 2, hey, look, I got same signs, and it says if you have same signs, we're supposed to add. That gives me -4. You made the problem longer, right? To get rid of a -2. So we always look to the left to decide whether we're adding or subtracting. Macy. Positive, negative. You're worrying me if you're not understanding that.
No, I just couldn't see.
Okay. You have these glasses, right? Wear them. Okay. How do we get rid of -2?
You add.
Add 2 to both sides. Once again, if we divided everything by 5, you're dividing 28 by 5 and -2 by 5. You don't want that pain. All right. Gavin, last chance. Go.
Oh, really? Is it 30?
Because this one is 30. All right.
You want to know something you do with that 30? You subtract 30 from 5.
Good luck with that. All right. Last step, everybody. Okay, for the smart kids, look at the answers. The answer is
Yes.
for the kids that need to do the math. Okay, do the math. 5 divided by 5 cancels. I got to divide 30 by 5. All right, 5 doesn't go into 3, but 5 goes to 36. Oh, the answer was 6. Okay. Yes.
There's a way you can do that without the phone division or even division.
How?
Counting by 5s.
Using your fingers. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. But you got to be careful. You can still make a mistake. All right. I think that one is also a challenging one because of that -2. I'll have people subtract 2 from both sides. The only cool thing, I'll do it. The only cool thing, because the kids won't realize it. When they write this right here, they'll write 28 is equal to -2 plus 5m. The kids that get it wrong will say, oh, I got to subtract 2 from both sides. They won't even be thinking. They've already made it up in their mind that goes away. But when they go over here, they're going to say 28 minus 2 is 26. And then they're going to be in for a problem because they're going to say, well, that answer isn't there. That's the key. Somebody's trying to tell you you've made a mistake. Don't assume, well, it's about 5.1 and, well, 6 is the closest number. Okay, you're just lucky there that you got that one right. Yes. We're going to do bunches of these. All right. Let's do one that involves some division.
Oh, that one was really hard, wasn't it?
I did. Well, we'll see. All right, here we go. Number 3. Number 3 says K over 4 is minus 2 is equal to -3. Once again, we can get rid of this one. It's not ugly if you get rid of the 4 first. You get rid of the 4 by multiplying everything by 4. It's just that it's easier to get rid of addition and subtraction first. We get rid of the 4, we're multiplying this by 4, this by 4, this by 4. That's 3 things. We add 2 to both sides as your first step. You're doing one thing, and then there's only one thing left to do. You get rid of the 4, you have 3 operations as your start, and then one more, that's total 4 operations. You get rid of subtraction, there's only 2 operations. It's a 2-step equation. Should take you 2 steps. Not that you can't multiply everything by 4. You can. You will get the right answer. Just like on the previous one, if you want to divide 39 by, or 29 by 5, you can. It'll still work. It's just ugly. This one isn't that ugly, but I would still recommend getting rid of addition, subtraction first. All right. Remember, we look to the left to see the sign to get rid of it. It's a -2. We get rid of a -2 by
Adding 2.
both sides. +2, +2. Same or different signs?
Different.
Different says subtract. 3 minus 2 is,
1.
and what it doesn't say up there is more negatives, more positives.
Negative.
So it's -1. Everybody good on that? Okay. And that equals k over 4. How do we get rid of the 4?
2 times 4 by 1.
Yeah.
What?
You times 4.
We multiply both sides by
4.
4. Be careful. You don't put the 4 right there.
Oh no.
You don't put the 4 right there. That was weird. 4 times 4 is 16. You got rid of nothing. The 4 needs to go on the top. You're really multiplying by 4 over 1. If this was a fraction, I would also multiply it by 4 over. It's not a fraction, so I don't need to write it as a fraction. I mean, you could. It seems silly.
What's 1 times 4?
It's not 1.
It's -1.
What's 1 times 4? That's a negative.
Okay, so what's the answer?
I don't know. I think it could be 10
Okay,
Oh my god.
or 4.
there we go. Does everybody see that one? 4 divided by 4 is 1, so we get k is equal to -4. Okay, so C. Questions?
No, I think we're
All right. Questions on how to solve a 2-step equation? All right. There will be 4 of those on the test.
Oh, really?
4 of those on the test. Should be easy thing. By the way, another way of doing it. If this is the answer, I should be able to put it into k. What's -4 divided by 4?
1.
No.
-1.
-2 equals,
-3.
and that's why it's the answer.
Bro, magic.
Now that is called the check step, right?
I swear there's a ghost.
I have no idea what's going on. I don't know if it's the computer or the projector. All right. Moving on, now we come to stuff that we need to take notes and put on our resource cards. All right, everything up to here, well, we've already done before. It's already on a resource card. So get a piece of paper out. No, it's not going to be a calculator on the test. This is all going to be done by hand. Okay, there will be one question on the test on circles. One question on the test on circles. Well, it's going over the Apple TV, so it's probably the projector, not the computer. All right, one question. However, there's 2 possibilities. I could either give you a,
Radius
or I could give you a.
diameter.
All right, is everybody up with that? Does everyone understand the difference between a radius and diameter?
Yeah.
What do I have here, radius or diameter?
Radius.
Very good. All right. The formula, if you don't remember, and it says calculate the area. I'm going to erase this. The formula for calculating the area of a circle is A for area. So the area of a circle, if you need to write that, because we're going to do a couple area formulas. The area of a circle, remember that's called subtext or subnotation. Mask on. Okay. Area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. You don't have to memorize any formula, but you do need to have it either memorized or written down. You don't have to memorize it, but if you show up without your resource card and you can't remember what's the formula for every circle, then you're not going to get this one right.
What's pi stand for again?
Hold on, we're not there yet. Okay? Everybody have it written down that needs to have it written down. It's a multiple choice test. If you're lucky, you don't have to do any math. Watch. The question was, what's pi? What's pi? 3.14 is awfully close to 3. So it's 3 times the radius squared. It's a multiple choice test. What's the radius?
7.
What's 7 squared?
49.
49 is awfully close to. What is 3 times 50? Look at the answers.
B or C.
So for all of you that were on my word, it's going to be, look at the answers are going to be out. I got to multiply by 3.14. It's a multiple choice test if you're lucky. If you're not lucky, there's going to be 4 answers that all say 150 something. Then you got to do the math. Okay, Macy. Multiply by itself. Okay. Questions. Now let's do it one time just so we see. Okay. Our life is horrible. All the answers say 150 something. So you don't know what it is. You actually have to take the radius and square it. So 7 squared. We have to square 7. So let's see, that would be 3.14 times 49. And then scratch work. We got to do 3.14 times 49. 9 times 4, 36, carry your 3. 9 times 1 plus 3 is 12, carry 1. 27 plus 1, 28, bring down to 0. 16, carry 1, 5, 12. 3, 8, 13, 5, 1. Okay? I said 13 and I wrote 5. I was going to say, that doesn't match. So I got 153.83. Why is that say 153.9 and I got 0.8 because I used 3.14. For those of you that choose to do the multiplication, I'm just going to tell you the computer program uses the pi key, not 3.14. So that when you do it and you're like, oh, I'm a little bit off, you actually still have the right answer. Don't panic. Exactly. They're going to use 3.1415927524, blah, 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 right? We're going to multiply with 3.14 if it's even required. If it's even required. Second one. Hey, I saw a lot of people watch me do that. Let's all do this. I saw a lot of people watch me do this. Let's do this. It says find the area. What's the shape?
Circle.
Step number 1 on your scratch work, you write the formula for area of a circle. Pi r squared. You look at your resource card. If you don't have it memorized, you write it down. Now we plug in the numbers. Lily, radius or diameter?
Radius.
So what is the radius? It's on your paper. Hey, whoever's yelling out the answers, you got to stop. As a teacher, I have no idea if she knows what she's doing now. All I know is that she can tell you the number that you just said. Thank you for messing with her. You are not helping her at all. Let me hear her answers. Clear? Whoever was whispering, stop it. So it's 4. So area is equal to pi times 4 squared. 4 squared is
16.
Not 8, it's 16. We said pi is awfully close to. For me, if it's a multiple choice, I'm not going to waste the time doing 3.14. I'm looking at the answers. One says 75, one says 50, one says 300, one says 13. Is that 1300?
1,208.
It's 1200. They're so far apart, I don't need to multiply by 3.14. I can multiply by 3. 3 times 16 is 48. It's not 48, but it's close. Look at the answers. There's only one answer that's remotely close to 48, and that is, and you're done. Yes. Hurry up. Questions? Yes. Yes. I will give you one of these on the test. It'll either be a radius or diameter. Take a guess which one I'll choose.
Radius. Diameter.
Why would I choose radius?
Because it's easy.
Why would I choose diameter?
Because it can trick us.
Okay. You can take a guess of which one I'll use. All right.
Like us, right?
No.
All right. That's the first shape. Now we come to all of our shapes. Many of you are going to need to write these down because you don't have them memorized. All right. Yeah. It will trick some people. Okay. What's the shape?
Square.
It is not a square. How do I know it's not a square?
Because the
It doesn't
sides
say.
aren't
Sides aren't the same. So what's the shape? I got a quadrilateral with 4 right angles. That makes it a
Yes. Rectangle.
form. A square. The sides are the same. They're not the same.
It looks like a square, but
Okay. This is a rectangle. Formula. Area of a rectangle is equal to somebody.
base times height.
We found out eventually that it was base times height. I'm going to still choose to write length times width. Okay. Yes, you can use base times height because it is a parallelogram, and all parallelograms are base times height. I'm going to choose to write length times width. We simply take the length, we multiply it by the width. It's a multiple choice test. So guess what I'm going to do, Malachi? I'm going to make my life easy. I'm not multiplying with 3.8. Guess what I'm going to multiply by? 4 times 4 is, what is the only answer that's remotely close to 16? Use a multiple. Now, if all the answers were 14, 15, 16, I would actually do the math. But they're not. 15, 22, 30, they're not remotely close to each other. Make your life easy. Macy. It's the same numbers. Okay. Next shape is a
Triangle.
Who remembers the formula for area of a triangle?
Base times height divided by 2.
Write it down if you need to. I'm just going to say I would have them all written down on a resource card. Area of a TRI triangle is equal to base times height divided by 2. Area of a triangle, base times height divided by 2. Be careful. The base and the height are always attached to the little square. You see the square? I can turn the triangle sideways and the square moves. The base is not the bottom. The base could be any side. Are you hearing me? The base could be any side. This side right here could be the base if the square is right here. This side could be the base. Hey, the red dotted line is always the height. Always the height. But the base could be any one of the 3 sides. Well, then how do you find it? What side does the square touch? Well, in this case, it does touch the bottom, so it's the base. Don't get your head, locked on the base at the bottom. It's not. I shouldn't even say it because some of you will, that's all you're hearing. The base is the side that is touching the square. The square is right here, therefore that's the base. If this is 4, then the base is 4. It's a multiple choice test. Look at the answers. Okay, we have 2 of them that are kind of close together. So we might have to. Well, let's see. What's 3 times 1?
3.
Divided by 2. 3 divided by 2.
1.
What? 1.5. Well, my belief is it's going to be, this is the one that you might have to actually do some math. My belief is it's B. I mean, it is close to 1. Maybe you want to do the math. 3 times 1.3 is 3.9. Divided by 2. 2 goes into 3 1 times. With 1 left over, 2 goes into 19. 9 times. 1.9. I'm going to stop right there because there's only one possibility at that point. I mean, it goes on, the math goes on, but I can stop right there. The multiple choice test, you can stop as soon as you identify the right answer. Questions on a triangle. Be careful. I'm going to tell you, I will try not to trick you. I'm not giving you that triangle. I'm going to give you one where it's turned. The square will not be on the bottom. Be ready for it. Okay? That separates the kids that know what they're doing from the kids that don't know what they're doing. This is hard. What's the shape?
Parallelogram.
It certainly looks like a trapezoid. If you include the red dotted lines. The red dotted lines are not part of the shape. I'm going to give you a black and white test. Yours are going to be black dotted lines. The dotted lines are not part of the shape. That is not a trapezoid. Trapezoid looks like this.
It looks like number 12.
Okay, looks like number 12. This is a parallelogram. All right, if you need to write it down, write it down. area of a parallelogram is equal to base times height. That's it. The base will be attached to the square. The height will be attached to the square. And there's only two numbers here, 4 and 3. It's not
Wow.
challenging.
It's 10.
Wow.
It's 10.
12
It's
All right.
18.3.
So it is C.
It is 10 squared.
Questions on parallelogram?
Well, yeah, it's 10.
Well, I mean, you can go ahead and get your.
You don't recognize my previous.
All right.
Last time I checked, you didn't even have brain cells.
That's not true. All right, the last one, the one that, well, the people that are paying attention, this is no big deal, but the people that weren't, they're like, I don't remember the formula. The formula for a trapezoid, A trap, right? Area of a trapezoid is equal to parentheses, base 1 plus base 2 times the height, all divided by 2. Some books will put the H in the front. It doesn't make a difference. Okay. Some will say the height times the sum of base 1 plus base 2, all divided by 2. Most books will write 1/2 the sum of the two bases times the height, all divided by 2. This was the more calculator friendly. It's also the way that will stick in your brain better. Yeah. The only trick to this one is identifying the two bases. If you need to write this down, the bases are the parallel sides. The two sides that are parallel are the bases. So which two sides are parallel?
5 and 2.
The top and the bottom. Will always be the top and the bottom.
Nope.
I can take the trapezoid and turn it 90 degrees, and then they're left and right. I can turn it 60 degrees, and then they're, I don't know how you want to describe it, diagonal from each other. The two bases are the two parallel sides. Secondly, the height connects the two bases. So for me, as always, I look for the dotted line first. If it's a triangle, the dotted line touches the vertex and it touches the base. It is the height and it is the base. If it's a parallelogram, it is the height and it touches one of the bases. If it's a trapezoid, the dotted line touches the two bases and it is the height. So all I gotta do is plug in numbers. This is one you do not want to do in your head. So we're gonna write it out. The two bases are 2 and 5, 2 plus 5. The red dotted line is 2. And we're dividing everything by 2. The 2's cancel. 2 plus 5 is, and you're done. Will it always be that easy? No.
Except 10 isn't an option.
It won't always be 2 divided by 2 and they cancel, right? If the height is not 2, then 2's don't cancel. If it doesn't cancel, you need to do what's inside the parentheses first, multiply by the height, and then divide by 2. There will be one of all of those on the test, just one. We're going to do that tomorrow, by the way.
Except
I just had a quick question. So for like, if it's a 67 and 68, does that mean I can just
67.5.
10 isn't an
So if it
option.
says that, that's your means 5.
Yeah.
If you're trying to find out what's between 67 and 68, then 67.5.
It says mode 67.
Wait a minute.
That means there's two that have, remember, you can have more than one mode. If you have, if I list the numbers and it's 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 9, 10. There's 3 3s and 4 4s. So the mode is 3 and 4.
I'm used to the mean being first.
Okay, well, it wasn't that one. That's what we're doing tomorrow, by the way. All right, moving on. That concludes for area. However, we did do volume. We did one shape for volume. We did rectangular prism, a box. You need to write it down, write it down. V for volume of a rectangular prism. I guess you don't need to write that because it's just going to be one shape for volume. Okay, the only reason we wrote that before because we did area of 4 different shapes. Length, width, height.
Just times it all together or add?
What does it look like? Okay, length times width times height. The biggest question on rectangular prism is which one is the length? Pick one. It doesn't matter.
7, 5.
Okay, there is no 7 here. If I choose 3 as being my length, that would make 5 as the width. You see it? Length and width. And that means the height is 4.
We have big brains.
Yeah, we had the.
Shoot, multiplication is commutative, so make your life easy. Don't do 3 times 5 times 4. Do 4 times 5 is, times 3 is B.
Yay.
I can't guarantee you the numbers will be that pretty, but I can guarantee you that the formula will not change, and that it will be a box, and it will look like a box. I can't make a box tricky. I can make a trapezoid, I can turn a triangle, I can make those tricky, but I can't make a box tricky. It's length times width times height, that's it. A lot of times kids are like, I don't get the length and the width. So pick one side and make it the base. For instance, if you want to make that your base, then the length and width are 5 and 3. And the distance between the top and the bottom is 4. Well, it's 3, 4, 5. Questions, and that's it for area and volume.
Nope.
All right. That's it for today. Tomorrow we will finish up the rest, which is basically literally the test that I just handed you back. Right? There's a couple other things as well too. Let me see. Oh yeah, add, subtract, and multiply and divide positive and negative integers or integers basically.
And then there's
And then there's the stuff that we just had on the test.
And then
So those are the last 2 chapters of the book. That was chapters 11 and 12. Chapter 11 was the integers. Chapter 12 is the probability. And I hope my projector is working better than it is right now because it's all messed up. All right. Sit quietly at your desk until the bell rings. E-learners, hey, I need everyone to be quiet. I got to make an announcement. I need everyone to be quiet. I have to make an announcement. E-learners, I don't know the final story. I can tell you what was put out in an email. You probably got the email last night as well, too. It appears, I will give you definitive knowledge tomorrow. It appears that you are going to be physically required to come into the school to take your finals. Unlike what we said before, which is your final is going to be on Teams. Your finals, as the email that I read and that you should have read, says that you physically have to come into class to take your finals. Okay? Who just opened up something? Hand it to me. All right, that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow, e-learners. We're not opening up things in my class.
Don't worry.